Hi everyone, I'm Cristina from Cristina Elisa Photography in Frederick, Maryland, and this is my daughter Ellie.
Hi!
Today, in part of our general series about photography, we are trying to answer a question that Ellie had. What was your question?
It was, what kind of day do I take pictures on?
What kind of day is good for taking pictures? So today we have a day that is, it's a little bit funny because it goes from being very sunny to being a little bit cloudy, and we want to show you the difference. I think it'll actually help us out. So generally speaking, we want kind of a nice soft light. So cloudy days are very good because they sort of make everything look even. Like right now, hopefully, we are looking pretty even and not like part of us is in shadow and part of us is in a lot of light. Snowy days are also very nice because the white snow on the ground, and generally it's also an overcast or cloudy day too. That all kind of helps the light bounce, and it's very reflective, so it helps your cameras kind of capture all the details that are there better. The more light there is, kind of the easier it is for your camera. But that doesn't mean we want necessarily harsh shadows of the sun peeking out. And we have a guest today, Baby Yoda, who is going to do a little bit of modeling for us here in the studio. And then Ellie and I and my son Luke are going to go outside and we'll kind of show you a few things about lighting outside and how to avoid that harsh midday sun, okay? So give us 1 second, we're going to show you something. Oh dear, I dropped Baby Yoda. With Baby Yoda. Okay, actually. Okay, so here we have Baby Yoda. He is in a very nice, even light. And in my studio, what we do to kind of recreate the look of a cloudy day and nice, even light, you'll see all these curtains behind us. They are, they're white. And they still let the light through. They're very kind of sheer, I guess. They let the light through, but what they do is they make it a softer light. So nothing is very harsh on our subjects. Sometimes, some parts of the day, the light does the sun is so kind of hard behind the windows that it does create big shadows. But for the most part, we get a nice even light in here. What I'm going to do is there's some curtains on this side as well, to the left of me, and I'm going to open some of these so we can start seeing the change. You can sort of see what that does. Sorry, you're getting half of my body in there. But now we can see sort of this side of his face is very, very bright, whereas the other side has a lot of shadow on it. And that actually can make it very difficult for capturing pictures, and it makes it even harder on you and harder on your camera because you have one area that's very, very bright and one area that's pretty dark. So it's hard to kind of get that balance of making everything look right when it's such a significant difference between the light and dark. So even lighting is more what we go for. That's why we like cloudy days, snowy days, overcast days, or certain parts of the day. Like in the evening, you're going to have a more even light than noon. It's about, let's see, it's about 11 in the morning right now. So the sun is very high in the sky. The closer you get to noon, the higher it is and the harsher the shadows are. But also very early morning. If you're an early riser, you get nice, softer light than you do during the day. So Ellie, Luke, and I are going, sorry. Ellie, Luke, and I are going to go outside and show you a little bit of what this looks like outside. All right, we'll talk about that. And we'll also take some pictures and show you at the end of the video. Okay, there is one more thing I actually want to talk about before we head outside to start taking some pictures. Sometimes I find that it's a little bit easier to kind of look at the floor to see if you're in harsh light or not. So if we look at our floor right now, we closed up the curtain panels again, so everything is looking very even on the ground. So that means we have a very soft light. And if you look up at the stool, Baby Yoda's got, I mean, there are shadows there and there's shadows under the stool, but it's all very soft and light. It's natural and okay to have shadows. We just don't generally want them to be super harsh. So Ellie, to show the contrast, can you please get up and open up the curtain panels one at a time? So we're gonna look at the floor. Here we go. One is open. It's not doing it? Okay. Well, one open generally gives, that actually gives us a very good idea. Look how long, if you can see how long the shadow is going out to the left side of the frame right now. That shadow is being caused by the bench. And just the light, there's kind of like a rectangle of light on the floor. You can see how bright that is compared to the rest of the floor. That tells us that we are in harsh light, all right? Okay, here we have some examples that Ellie and I set up for you to go over the types of lighting that we talked about. In this first example, you will see that Baby Yoda is in a very soft light. We're using the natural light in the studio, and we have the curtains all pulled so that it's filtering out the light nicely. You can see all the details in his face, his skin tone, the details in the jacket. There is weaving and a nubby texture around his neck. I want you to pay attention to those, and I want you to pay attention to what it's looking like on the top of his head, because you can clearly differentiate where his head ends and where the background begins. In this next photo, we actually opened up two of the curtains. So the sun was on that side that we opened up, and you can clearly see just how bright it is coming in on his face and on his body. You lose so much detail in the coat if you take a look at that, just like we were in the last picture. On the right side, our right, so Baby Yoda's left, you really cannot even tell all the way on the left what color the coat is. It's just all kind of one tone, and there's no texture in there. You can't tell, you can't see the texture like you can on the left side. And this is called blown out highlights. Also, if you look at the top of his head and the top of his left ear, you can't really tell where those end and where the background begins. It's all one color, and it's very, very bright, pretty much white. And yeah, you just lose a lot of detail when you have super harsh lighting like this. Also, if you look at the tip of his nose in comparison to the rest of sort of that center of his face, it's so bright it almost looks like it's glowing to me. So if this were a person or your own stuffed animal or a block town you had set up, something like that, it probably would not be the most flattering light to take a picture in, and you maybe would lose a lot of detail of what you had put into that picture you were trying to take. This second harsh light example, we closed one of the curtains, so one is still open. It is still incredibly bright on that one side, but you can see how just that slight change of closing one of the curtains, it gave us like a little glimmer of a line above his ears that you can see where his ear ends more clearly. You can see where the top of his head ends a little bit. It's still kind of right there in the center, pretty blown out, but you can see a little bit of the differentiation between him and the background. There also starts to be a tiny bit of detail more kind of in like the midsection going to the left of his coat. Not all the way to the left, that's still all blown out, but you can sort of see a little more detail coming back. So hopefully these examples help you see some of what we were talking about. And finally, we just wanted to do two more examples of the soft light and versus the harsh light, just doing a different orientation of the photo. If you take a look at the first one, we closed up the curtains again and we did a portrait orientation. You can see the shadows are all very soft on Baby Yoda, and you can see his lovely skin tone, that beautiful green. If you're hearing noises, I'm sorry, that's my puppy chewing. But yeah, the shadows are there, and those are all important to have because that's how we look naturally, and things look out in nature. But it's not harsh, and you're not losing details or sacrificing the details of one thing to get details of the other. So this last picture will be of our harsh light scenario. You will see, you can kind of see that long shadow I'm talking about. There, the shadows are definitely still there, but you've got one area that is so very bright and the other area where the shadows are just so very extreme. So you can see that long shadow being created on the left side of the bench. So hopefully these help you. Like I said, or we wrote a little note earlier, we are going to separate out the going outside to a part 2 because we like to keep these videos on the shorter side in case some of the kids watching have a little bit of a shorter attention span. I know lots of kids can maybe listen to this stuff all day and others maybe go for 5 or 10 minutes. So this video is getting on the longer side for us. So we will let you know when that is out. And if you like our videos, please like them here on YouTube and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you know when new material pops up. Thanks for watching. Bye.